The Atlanta Braves, Hudson, Smoltz. We'll have to wait and see for the number 3 starter. Mike Hampton. Will he pitch? Won't he pitch?
Never know.
Recovering from injury. He hasn't pitched since August of 2005. The former Met Tommy Glavine and Chuck James, who has won, I believe, 13 games his first year, 11 in his second, so you can pencil him in for 10. A pretty decent bullpen. They added Willie Oman to go along with Mikey Gonzalez, who hopefully they'll get a whole year out of him. Rafael Soriano. Tyler Yates, another former Met in there. A few other guys that they're going to have to, bits and pieces to see how they go about their business in spring training to get that rotation together. Rotation, I think, will be fine, but I think it's all the bullpens here that we're going to have to worry about. Your take on the Atlanta Braves and their aging rotation?
Yeah, I mean, you add Tom Glavine, who's going to be another year older. John Smoltz is another year older. I mean, I think all the rotations of these 3 teams, the starting rotations, are all kind of comparable. I think the bullpens for these 3 teams is going to be what makes the difference between first, second, and third place for these teams. And the Braves bullpen is decent, with Gonzalez and Soriano, the 2 flamethrowers, and it's just going to be it's really tough to tell with relief pitchers. They're so they change from year to year. You never really know what you're going to get, so you have to hope that they can all pitch to the top of their ability.
And the Braves have a plethora of young talent. You want to talk about a few guys who are not household names yet, but Yunel Escobar. Even Brian McCann he's been in the league 4 years now. He's 1983. He's only 24, 25 years old.
Yeah.
And you still have Chipper Andrews gone. They replace him with Mark Kotze. You still have a very young Jeff Francoeur and Matt Diaz. So this is still
Don't forget Mark Teixeira.
And Mark Teixeira as well. And he was only born in 1980, so he's 27, 28. Not a lot of old guys, but you have a group of veterans, young veterans, who could make the difference for this team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Francoeur and McCann are the 2 guys who've been there really for the past 4 or 5 years and are still really young players, and they're impact players. McCann, has put himself in the argument, is probably top 3 pitcher in the National League. I mean, he hits like a machine, and Francoeur is, if he puts it all together, he's going to be very dangerous. He's great. He has a great arm, and he's got great power. Just needs to kind of put it all together there for him to be one of the top superstars in the league.
You want to talk about opening up a can of worms? The guys in the control room are going crazy about this. Like, I hear them in there talking about the Phillies and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they raised their hands. And a special thanks to Jamie Hickson. Catch his show In the Bleachers every Saturday at noon, airing on Channel 35. I knew I had to get that in somewhere. Yeah. We'll move on now to the rink, the National Hockey League. The surging Washington Capitals. They're number 1 in their division, a pretty stinky division, if you will.
Yeah. 4
teams separated by 2 points. Washington Capitals, I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to go on the record. I'm going to say Alexander Ovechkin, he wins the Hart Trophy for MVP. He wins Art Ross for most points. He wins Rocket Richard for most goals. He'll probably win the Pearson as well for the Players MVP that they all vote on. He is the star. And all of this without Michael Nylander, who went out about 3 or 4 weeks ago with a season-ending injury.
Yeah, I mean, Nylander was brought in to be the number 1 center, and just unfortunate that he's going to go down for the year here. But like you said, the division they're in just not that good, and because of that, when you have a player like Ovechkin, he can carry your team to a division title because there's no teams out there that are that good. So you can afford to not have a loaded roster and just have Ovechkin carry. I mean, and Ole Kolzig, is a really good goaltender.
He's the veteran. He's taken them to a finals before.
Yeah, he's a really good goaltender. So I mean, Ovechkin is leading this team to a possible playoff berth, and he's just really fun to watch.
Sports Lounge predictions. I'll take the Washington Capitals to win the Southeast, and I'll also take the Mets to win their division as well. We didn't get our picks in because of all that commotion in there. But tell us your 2 picks from the Southeast Division in hockey and the NL East, if you will.
Okay, well, in the National League East, I'm going to take the Phillies to win the division. I like their bullpen, and I think their lineup is deeper than the Braves and Mets. As far as the Southeast Division, I mean,
flip a coin.
Really, you can just flip a coin.
Flip a puck.
Yeah, I mean, but I think I'm going to take Atlanta. I think Kovalchuk is going to have a good finish to the season, and Letton is going to finish up strong in goal. Hey, I think Atlanta will come out on top of that division.
97, 98 points last season. They won their division. Hey, they had a great season last year.
I mean, you also have to see what happens with the trade deadline.
Which is something we'll get to in just a moment. But before we do, we have to touch on the very enigmatic New York Rangers and New Jersey Devils. Just when you think you have them figured out, They go and they lose. I'll give you an example. The Rangers, they win 3 games on the road against teams who have better records than them. Then they go and lose to the L.A. Kings this past Tuesday. The Devils can never put together a 60-minute effort. It seems they're coming from behind every night, and yet they're still winning, and they're still both in the thick of things in the Atlantic Division.
Yeah, I mean, they're so unpredictable, these teams. Like you said, you think you have them figured out, but then they go ahead and do something crazy like lose to the Kings at home after they're winning 3 straight road games as far as the Rangers is concerned. But all you got to do here, I mean, the Atlantic Division is a very good division, one of the best divisions in the league, but all these teams have to do is just make the playoffs. Doesn't matter what seed they get in. You know, in the NHL, more so than any other league, I think, if you just get in the playoffs as an 8 seed, 7 seed, whatever, you have just as good a chance as anybody to make a run to the finals.
All right, it's time for rapid fire. We're going to make this quick. We got under 2 minutes. We'll stay in the National Hockey League. Dion Phaneuf signs an extension, 6 years, $39 million. He liked the fact that they were committed to locking up their key players like Iginla and Kiprusoff. He's a Scott Stevens-like player, a shoo-in for 50 or more points per season. I like this move.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great move. He's one of the top defensemen in the league. A lot of people don't know about him because he plays over in Calgary. But, I mean, he's a good defenseman. Great idea to lock him up. 6 years. Nice contract. I think good move by the Flames.
Trade deadline rapidly approaching. We got about 2 weeks. Sundin, Jokinen, Marlowe, Marian Hossa, Peter Forsberg is going somewhere. We don't know just quite yet. That decision should come in a matter of days. Talk about who you think might get traded. I'll run them off to you. Sundin, will he leave Toronto? Yes or no?
I mean, if I'm Toronto, I got to trade him.
Okay. Jokinen, the big-time captain, the big-time player in Florida. Olli Jokinen.
I don't see him leaving.
All right. Marian Hossa, I think yes, even though they do want him signed.
I think they might keep him trying to make a run at the division.
Patrick Marleau, a very underachieving season, only 27 or 28 points, way behind his partner in crime, Super Joe Thornton.
Yeah, the Sharks might look to move him. I think that could happen.
And now, the man, Foppa, they call him, Peter Forsberg. Where will he go? It's down to Vancouver, Philadelphia, Colorado, Ottawa, maybe?
It's so tough. I think he wants to go to Philadelphia. I think that in the end he's going to end up there.
And finally, in the NBA, Sean Marion goes to Miami. He'll pack his bags. He'll go to another warm destination. And then Shaq will pack his bags. He's already there. He is in Phoenix. What's going on? Do you like the move?
I don't understand it. I can't figure. I don't know what Phoenix is thinking making this move. He doesn't fit their team really at all. But they're going to take a shot and see what happens. I mean, I don't know.
I do like the tandem of Wade and Marion. I'd like to see how they gel over the next few years or so.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
And we have to wrap. Thank you, Jamie, very much. The man in the booth, the man to my left, Robert DeVito. I'm John Carl Ziegler. Thank you for watching our 50th milestone episode of the Sports Lounge. Good night, everybody.